Hello everyone, back tuning in today's video. We're going to have a look at the weather next week to 10 days for today's video, which takes us around the middle part of June, and also a look at CFS-V2 for the next month. That's taking us into the start of July. So it looks like we are going to get cooler and more unsettled period coming up through the course of next week. Now, the extent of this, how unsettled it's going to get, how cool it's going to get, is uncertain. Models are changing from run to run. But we have been highlighting for quite a while now the prospect of a change to the weather pattern from this very warm, sultry and at times thundery, but also very dry weather pattern that we've been in for several weeks now. Been highlighting a chance of a change from the middle part of June to something a bit more mobile with Atlantic weather moving in. So that's still on course. The extent is uncertain, but I'll bring you up to date with the latest in a moment. As I say, I'll have a look at CFS-V2 for the next month as well. Going to start off just talking about this though. This is the Gazweather's Patreon page. So we have just launched this today. I'll drop a link to the Patreon page for Gazweather's at the description box here at YouTube, and also we'll link to it from Gazweather's website as well. It's just a page where patrons can come and donate a little bit of money to support the YouTube channel and the website. Of course, particularly the website does cost money to have the website in terms of the domain and other aspects that we have to have on the website. So we are primarily ad funded. We get most of our revenue from Ibbertson. That will be staying the case. We're not going to be getting rid of the ads, and the content at Gazweather's, both the YouTube channel and the website, will be staying free whenever you want or need that content. The videos, written posts, everything will be staying completely free of charge. So with this Patreon page, you can issue exclusive content, so paid for content, but we won't be doing that at Gazweather's. I want to keep the content completely free for everybody to be able to see it whenever they want it, and read it whenever they want it or need it. So we won't be doing any exclusive content with this. It's just purely a page where if you would like to donate a little bit of money to help support the channel and the website, you can do that, and you will have your names. You will have your names announced in the video. So we'll say thank you to you in the video. We had a couple of donors already, so I've just got to say thank you to these two people. So Joe Ibbertson was our very first patron for the Patreon page. Big thank you to Joe for his kind donation, and also Richard Traut has issued or donated a little bit of money as well, so big thank you to Richard also for doing that. So you can come to this page and say, I'm going to leave a link here in the description box at YouTube, also link to it from Gazweather's website. You can come here and donate a little bit of money if you would like to do that to help support the YouTube channel and the website. But don't worry, we will be keeping all of the content totally free. We're not going to be doing exclusive content or anything like that, so nothing will be changing in terms of how you can get hold of the videos and the written posts and everything else. Big thank you to everybody for their lovely, kind donations. Right, we're going to get on with the video. I'm going to start off by having a look at 500 millibar height anomaly flowcharts. We've got the E70F here on the top, and the GFS is on the bottom. 500 millibars, 8 feet is an area in actually high pressure, low pressure. I've been moved around by a jet stream running above. Let's extrapolate low pressure, red to high pressure. So for the E70F, we see a bit of a messy picture here. We've got this ridge from the Azores High down to our southwest. We've also got a little bit of a ridge still left over Scandinavia, but the ridging is actually looking quite a lot weaker now compared to what we've had over the past few weeks. So the ridges are still there in broadly the same places, but they are weaker. We've got this cut-off trough still over southern Europe, so unsettled weather will continue for them, and also below average heights in the northern part of the Atlantic. That's bringing the jet stream through rather like that. Now, recently we have had a split in the jet stream, with some of the energy going up there, some of the energy going down there, and that's what's left us with this very slow moving the weather pattern that we've been in. This is implying that the jet stream is probably beginning to get its act together just a little bit more. So this is bringing probably quite a flat jet actually across the Atlantic, a little bit like that. So it's not desperately unsettled. It's nothing to be overly alarmed about. It wouldn't be a washout, but it is a little bit of a return of the westerlies, and it would be certainly a little bit more unsettled and changeable compared to what we've had, and cooler compared to what we've had recently. However, the GFS looks rather different. That's showing area of above average height, still very close to the country. So as I say, we are seeing chopping and changing on this idea from run to run. I think these are based on the midnight run runs of the models. So midnight run of the GFS did have a little bit more of an anticyclonic influence from the Azores and also over the UK, which still leaves us kind of splitting the jet stream with the energy going rather like that. So up to mid-month, the GFS midnight run was actually quite warm and settled still. So there is uncertainty about the scope and extent of this change to a more mobile and settled weather pattern. I think something is going to happen around the middle part of the month, but a lot of uncertainty associated with it. GFS temperature and precipitation ensembles looking like this. Looking at Manchester today. So the red line is the 30-year upper air temperature average for Manchester. We find that we are significantly warmer than average at the moment, and we're going to be staying that way over the next few days. Certainly over the next week to 10 days, we're going to be staying pretty warm. I have to say, pretty much above average. This is the middle part of June just here, and by then we are seeing signs that the temperatures are lowering. So at the weekend into the start of next week, temperatures beginning to lower down. Nothing particularly cool coming up, though, you have to say. Just going back closer to average, really. There's no sign of anything particularly cool or alarming happening there. I suppose just there it is a little bit cool, but that's right in the extended range going into the second half of the month, so it's a little bit cooler in that particular period, but that's very uncertain. It's a really long way off. In terms of precipitation, lots of dry weather coming up over the next few days. I think we may well increase risk of thundery showers again later in the week, but they're going to be quite hit and miss, and many places are going to stay dry up to the weekend now. Over the weekend into next week, the precipitation spikes are coming back a little bit, but again, you wouldn't necessarily say that's a particularly wet ensemble by any means. Just signs of a little bit more in way of changeable weather, a little bit more mobility perhaps. Service temperatures for Manchester look like that. This is 20 degrees, this is 30 degrees, that's 10 degrees down there. But he's undercooked the temperatures a bit. So you can see over the next few days, you're going to be staying warm, keeping temperatures to or even above 20 degrees Celsius through to the weekend. There's the slide off in the temperatures that's happening around the middle part of the month. So you see it's nothing overly dramatic. It's just going back closer to average, really, compared to the warm temperatures that we're going to have through the course of this week. This is how the latest run of the GFS is looking then. So this is 6 o'clock run, where we find that on Thursday we're still with this pattern of high pressure out to the north and the northwest. Low pressure is to our south. I'd say that low pressure could be starting to threaten some thundery showers into southern parts of the country on Thursday, and maybe a little bit more on Friday as well. So back to that very slack, slow moving, possibly for the south thundery situation, very warm temperatures at the end of the week. Through to next weekend, we're looking like that. So through the weekend into a week away, Monday the 11th of June, still in the same broad pattern really, with high pressure up here to the north of the country, low pressure is down there off the coast of France, still probably threatening thundery showers to the south, but nothing particularly mobile going on. However, things do start to turn gradually more and more unsettled. So as we go through to the middle of next week, actually then we have seen a weakening of the ridges. You notice that we have pushed the ridge up to here and also pulled it back into the middle of the Atlantic down there, and so that's allowing things just to start to turn rather more unsettled and cooler as we're going up to the middle of the month. That takes us to day 10, which is Thursday the 14th of June, and you see that it is unsettled by then. We have got low pressure close to the country by day 10, so that's a firm sort of movement into unsettled conditions. Bear in mind the midnight run of the GFS didn't really show that. So actually, we go a bit beyond day 10 to Friday the 15th of June. That low pressure is slap bang over the top of the country. That does look a lot more unsettled, cooler and changeable for the middle part of June. Beyond that, into extended range of the GFS run, 6 o'clock run of the GFS, we look like that. And still a little bit changeable, although trying to start to raise the heights again to the southwest. And notice that high pressure is still there over Scandinavia. That high pressure is not really going anywhere at this stage. It's still there over Scandinavia. As long as that remains the case, we could very quickly pull winds back into the east and start to draw up those hot winds from off the continent. ECWF looks like that. So again, a little bit thundery for the south, perhaps coming up at the end of the week. Overall, very slack, slow-moving weather patterns continue into the weekend. Probably quite warm as well. The early part of next week does start to turn a little bit more unsettled. So we run up to day 10 and we get to day 10 with low pressure starting to head in off the Atlantic. It's not a quick change to unsettled conditions, but very gradually between around day 7 and 10 it does begin to turn more unsettled. So I think we are still on course for this more unsettled spell around the middle part of the month. But how long it's going to go on for, I think that is quite doubtful. Finally, just have a look at CFSV2 for the next month, and these are 500 millibar heights broken down into week periods. The first week period takes us from the 4th through to the 10th of June. We've got above average heights over just a little bit to the north of the country, with below average heights down to the south. That's bringing these warm to very warm east to southeast winds in across the country, but we might be threatening thundery showers and thunderstorms to the south. We saw it on the GFS and the ECM. Now we go through to week 2, and this does look more unsettled. This is the 11th to the 17th of June, with below average heights from the Atlantic extending into the UK, the above average heights pulling back into the central Atlantic and also weakening over Scandinavia. That's allowing us to do something like that with the flow and with the jet stream. So that one certainly looks more changeable, it looks more unsettled, and it looks cooler as well for that middle part of June. Week 3 looks like that, and the CFS wants to continue the unsettled weather then, with below average heights out to the northwest, above average heights over Scandinavia and in the middle of the Atlantic. The flow and the jet is going something like that. So that's rather cool, rather unsettled weather for week 3 as well, the 18th to the 24th of June. And then we go through to week 4, which is the 25th of June through to the 1st of July. And another change, above average heights beginning to return over and to the east of the country, which is pushing the below average heights back into the Atlantic probably. The jet stream would be starting to do something like that. So that could well be hinting at things turning much warmer again. Maybe even a chance of a little bit of a heat wave perhaps as we go through to the final week of June. Temperature anomalies for the week, for the month ahead look like that. The coming week, the 4th to 10th of June, coming out substantially warmer than average. Week 2 temperature anomalies is when the changes begin to take place, more unsettled conditions, still warmer than average, less so compared to week 1 temperature anomalies, but nevertheless still on the above average side. Week 3 temperature anomalies CFSV2 from the 18th to 24th of June, close to average, so a cool down has taken place through this middle phase of June. Definite signs of a cool down, not necessarily all that cold or cool, but certainly a cool down from the really warm start to the month. And then week 4 also, perhaps a little bit surprisingly, given above average heights are building over into the east of the country. Temperature anomalies in week 4, 25th of June to 1st of July, still only at sort of average at best. Notice most parts of Europe, though, are turning much warmer. I think temperature anomalies in that final week of June will be starting to lift up if those above average heights begin to settle to our east once again. And then finally, precipitation anomalies in the week ahead. We're coming out drier than average, so another really warm and dry week coming up, just with hit and miss thunderstorms to the south. Week 2, it's close to average then, 11th, 17th of June. So obviously it has turned a bit more unsettled compared to week 1, because we've gone from drier than average to average rainfall. Week 3, precipitation anomalies wetter than average to the north and the west, near normal for England and Wales. That's a more unsettled week 2. And then by week 4, we're weakening the signal now. 25th of June to 1st of July, coming out average precipitation precipitation-wise, but with above-average heights close to the country, I see no reason why that shouldn't be a hotter and drier week than the model is predicting. So we're still on course of this more unsettled and changeable spell of weather for mid-June. How long it's going to go on for, I think that is quite uncertain. CFS is suggested a couple of weeks, but it might be a little bit over the top with that. The shorter range ones, particularly the GFS, hinting even by sort of the end of their runs that we are trying to get the Azores high going again. So it could be quite a short-lived spell of cooler and more changeable weather. But for a while, if you don't like the warm weather, a lot of people actually don't particularly like warm or hot weather. If you don't like it, the temperature looks like it's going to cool down over the weekend and next week, and maybe some rain. Some places do need the rain, particularly in the north. Maybe some rain coming through as well for the middle part of June. Right, that's all for now. Tomorrow we will have, as always, your week to 10 day weather forecast video. We'll also have a look at the ECMWF 30-day ensembles from the Hungarian Met Office. So come back for all the updates tomorrow. Don't forget to check out the Patreon page if you'd like to do that. That's all for now, and thanks for watching.